Chris Guns, Jay Rivera, and Frankie Colon at ATG Radio and the upcoming takeover of the WorldBoxingReport.com here with the great Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Eddie, how's it going first and foremost with you? I know you're staying busy training fighters at the Mayweather Gym, training fighters at the Hit Factory. You're keeping busy. What's next for you?
Well, what's next is the money team, Ishe, Smith, Jack, Ronald, Brazil, Lewis, Harriet. That's the money team. And, well, no, that's the money team right there.
Yeah, the last time we saw you in the ring, it was manning Chad Dawson's corner. You were back in his corner for the Adonis Stevenson fight. Didn't go as planned. What went wrong, Eddie?
You have to give credit to Adonis Stevenson. You know, what happened was Chad was in the best of shape mentally and physically. I mean, all he had to do was go out there, just keep the jab on Adonis, and keep the fight in the middle of the ring. Evidently, you know, it didn't happen like that. He got caught with a tremendous shot, but he got up because he was in tremendous shape. And the referee didn't even give him an inkling of a chance to let him continue.
Yeah.
So we talked about it in the dressing room, the referee and myself. That's why, after the fight, I went over to the referee and I told him point blank, you lied and you contradicted yourself.
And what did he say about that? Did he defend himself?
He had nothing else to say. And the other day, I got a text from another referee, a Canadian referee, that is a well-known referee. Still got the text on my phone. He texted me and said, the referee did a bad job. He did a discredit to the Canadian people by not letting Chad, you know, if he was to go out on his shield, Chad was ready. Because, like I said, I had him in great condition, mentally and physically. And that's the same referee that stopped the Pascal fight when Chad just had a scratch on him.
Yeah. And I talked to you when Chad first started working again with you, and you expressed confidence in Chad beating Adonis Stevenson.
Exactly.
But in retrospect, though, Eddie, knowing what you know now, obviously things would have been different if you knew what you know now. But if it was up to you, would you have picked Adonis Stevenson in his hometown, or would you have changed anything if it was up to you?
No, I wouldn't have never picked Adonis Stevenson, you know, because I know he's a puncher, and Chad coming off a loss, didn't need that fight, a fight like that, you know. But listen, he's a fighter, and, you know, he fights. This is what he does. He's not the type of guy that's going to turn his back on any fighter, you know. And I believe that Chad will be back stronger than ever as light heavyweight champion.
Have you talked to Chad since then?
I've been talking to someone recently, yeah.
And you know that he's still going to have you in his corner for the next fight then?
Oh, without a doubt. I'm not even worried about that. That's the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys out there taking pot shots at Chad, you know, like John Scully. Now, here's a guy, and I like Scully, but when you got a guy that made you some good money when you were with him, and just because, you know, you're not with him anymore, and he gets stopped, why don't you come off like that?
Yeah.
Scully talked about Chad like he reminded me of a disgruntled pimp when his whores are not bringing him money. That's what he sounded like.
Yeah. So you think it was more of a case? I think because of the way he lost to Andre Ward, I think the first couple rounds were going to be jittery anyway. But I think he needed a couple rounds to just feel looser and feel more confident and feel like the old Chad Dawson, you know? And I think
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But evidently he got caught with a great shot.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, he got up from that shot. You know, I mean, it was a great shot. I mean, I've seen Stevenson knock out a lot of guys with that same shot. They never got up.
Mm-hmm.
Chad got up because of the great condition he was in.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Stevenson. He did what he had to do. He threw a great shot, but it was a little help from the referee by not letting Chad continue.
Yeah. And you could see that Chad, he wasn't all there. I think he did deserve a chance to show it as a champion that he was done. But when you first got in the ring and you had gotten your hands on Chad, I saw that you were talking to the referee. What did you tell him at that point in the ring?
I told the referee, you out and out lied to us in the dressing room.
Oh, okay.
I said, you're going to give, and I spoke about it. I said, in the event that Chad gets knocked down, will you give us the benefit of the doubt to protect ourselves? He said, I will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I went over there, and I said, you out and out lied to us in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Called him a piece of garbage. That's what he is.
Yeah. Do you think that Chad has to change anything? Like some people that I talked to said that Chad doesn't seem to have the love, like the true love for the game, because he doesn't stay in the gym anymore. Do you talk to Chad about that? Like just coming to the gym even when there's not a fight scheduled necessarily, and staying sharp, staying on top of his game, like Floyd.
For this fight, we had an 8-week training camp.
Yeah.
We had a great. I'm not taking anything away from Adonis. Everything was great. We had a great training camp. Everything was great. We couldn't ask for a better training camp. Mm-hmm. It was perfect.
Yeah. What did Chad say to you after it was over and you got in the back dressing room? Was he just disappointed at the early stoppage, or?
He was very disappointed at the early stoppage. But I mean, like I said, we talked to the referee about just in case there's a knockdown. You know, will you give anybody an equal opportunity to defend yourself? He said, no problem.
Yeah.
He said, no problem. He didn't even give us an opportunity. Chad had his hands up, and the referee said, come to me. Chad walked there, and then he stopped the fight.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple more guys on the line. Like I said, Jay is next. I want to pass it over to you, Jay. Go on, Jay. Talk to Eddie.
Hey, how you doing, Eddie?
I'm good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I'm actually a boxing trainer myself down here in Puerto Rico, and I wanted to know regarding that fight with Chad. What exactly did the ref say to you in the corner?
What did the ref say to me?
Yeah, what did he say when you
ignored him?
When I went up to him and confronted him, he looked at me like I was going to rip his heart out. And I wouldn't do that. I wanted to make sure that he knew he was an out-and-out liar.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know it too, Jay. You gotta. What can you do when a referee is not trying to pay attention to you? There's nothing you could just wonder if some fishy was up. You know that better than anyone.
Listen. It happened with the same referee when Chad fought Pascal. He was the same referee, and I let him know. I said, you were the same referee that stopped the fight with Chad and Pascal. Well, we had a little scratch on our eye. You stopped the fight.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, listen. Again, not taking anything away from Stevenson. He caught Chad with a good shot. Chad got up, responded to the referee, and the referee decided to stop the fight.
Well, I got another question for you, Eddie. In a situation like this, after the fact, after the fight, now that his confidence obviously has been shocked a little bit, because of the loss. How do you get back in the ring with a fighter? How do you motivate him? What would you change regarding his training?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. Like I said, we had a great training camp. We had great sparring partners. Everything was perfect. He just got hit. You know, what is it to change? This man is a two-time world champion, and if it win, we get the opportunity to fight for the world title. He'll be a three-time world champion. I have a lot of confidence in Chad Dawson.
And there's been a lot of great fighters that got caught early, got caught cold, and they came back, and a lot of great fighters lost 2 fights in a row. It's not out of the question.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's giving him his last rites. It makes me laugh. I just like saying to myself, you know, you woke up a sleeping lion. You know, they're gonna wake him up, and they'll find out.
Yeah.
Hey, there's been plenty of fighters that have come back from even worse losses and stuff like that. So I really don't see how a guy so talented, you know, as Chad Dawson. Obviously, it surprised everybody, you know, with the outcome of the fight. But I do believe I have a lot of confidence that he should be able to come back even stronger.
I believe the same thing. Like I sit and talk to Chad after the fight. We talked in his dressing room, and we talked. And I told him, I said, listen, man, we knew going into this fight that the odds were going to be against us as far as if we get knocked down or whatever, they're going to stop the fight. We knew that. It didn't faze me because, like I said, Chad got up. You know, he walked to the referee with his hands up. He was very coherent. You know, and after they stopped the fight, Chad looked at me and, you know, got a little grin on his face. Like, you know, I knew they were going to do that.
Go on, Frankie. You got any questions for Eddie about this Chad Dawson fight?
I wanted to ask Eddie if there's a certain referee that you feel is not going to give you the fair shake. Do you have like a certain time where you can say, listen, can I get another referee? Is there a ruling in boxing for that? If you feel that,
well, you know what?
Is not going to give you that shake?
The Canadians, they had it already picked out. You know, we had no say-so on the referee. We had one judge appeal one from the United States, one from Canada, and one was neutral. I think it's from England. No, from Thailand. But the referee is the one that basically controls the fight.
Exactly. So if right now, let's say Steven says, you know what, I'm going to give Chad Dawson a rematch right away. Would you take that fight, or would you give Chad a couple of tune-ups first?
No, you know what? Listen, what we would do is give him a 1 or 2 tune-ups. Right, to get him back in the swing of things. And then to go back and take care of business like we know how to take care of business.
Yeah. Build up some confidence again. Get all that back.
But you have to do that in any fighter.
So right now, is there somebody in mind for his next fight, for his next tune-up fight? Or are you just going to wait for...
No, I'd like a guy, somebody in the top 10. You know, I mean, could be Bernard. It could be Tavoris Cloud. You gotta realize Chad is a 2-time world champion. He's not ducking anybody. I would think that we can go against any one of those guys in the top 10.
That would be good to see. In terms of Charles Crowd, that would be very good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know my athlete. I know what he's about. I know what happened in the fight. You know, I know what type of training camp we had to prepare for this fight. And everything was perfect. I mean, listen, I couldn't ask for another training camp in the way we had the last one.
It was a great training camp, I'm sure.
He was on weight 2 weeks before the fight.
Yep. And you're not just I mean, if it was up to you, Eddie, when would you want Chad back in the ring?
I told him, I said, listen, go enjoy your family. You got a 30-day suspension. Go spend that time with your family. And, I think he's going to take his family to Disneyland. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You don't owe nobody anything. You've achieved a great deal of success. Just because you had a slip, everybody's counting you out. But it's cool like that. And everybody's talking. And it's good when they talk. They talk so much that when they talked about Jesus Christ, when they stopped talking, they killed him. So people are going to talk, which is cool. Let them talk. At least they're talking.
Yeah, and all these naysayers, all these people saying Chad's done, they never accomplished anything near what he accomplished. So, who are they?
Exactly. When he was winning world titles back to back, beating Tarver twice, Glenn Johnson twice. Oh, it was Ryan and Jock.
Yeah, and they were naysaying someone else, right?
Exactly.
They always got to naysay somebody.
Listen, like I said, they talked about Jesus Christ until they killed him.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of confidence in Chad Dawson.
So Chad is in Disneyland. He's resting up, taking some well-deserved vacation time, but no rest for you, Eddie. Now you're working with Ishe. Ishe Smith, first Vegas-born champion, new IBF 154-pound champion, defending his title against tough Carlos Molina in a month. What was it? A month from yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
How's training camp going? What do you see different in Ishe now?
Oh man, more confidence in himself.
Yeah.
Because when you win a world title and you put that belt around your waist, it's going to be hard for somebody to take that belt away from Ishe.
That's right. That's one of the happiest guys. I that's made me the happiest that almost anybody I saw win a championship lately. I mean, just from where he's been, it was such a good feeling to see him win that.
He went through a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these guys. I mean, Ishe had to fight out of his weight, and we went up in weight and beat guys in their own neighborhood, which they gave it to the other guy. But listen, this is boxing. Boxing has always been corrupt, and I'll stick by my gun.
Yeah.
So it'll always be corrupt.
Yep. And it was such a long time coming for Ishe. You knew him before he won the title. You knew him in his worst days, his lowest period. Ishe battled depression, as I'm sure anyone who knows anything about boxing or anybody who really knows boxing knows that Ishe battled depression, and it got pretty low for a long time. But just to see him talk like that, tell me some of the things you see different now in his training and the way he looks at life in general. Like, what did he express to you? And
his attitude and his demeanor, his zeal and zest for being a world champion. He carries himself like a world champion. When anybody asks him for an autograph, he takes the time and signs every autograph. Even if it's 1,000 people, you better believe there's going to be 1,000 autographs signed that day. He loves being called champion.
Yeah. And he was taking on Carlos Molina. What do you expect from Carlos Molina?
Listen, Carlos Molina is going to come in and try to headbutt and try to rough Ishe up. Believe me. I'm not even worried about Carlos Molina. I believe that we're going to stop Carlos Molina.
Yeah. And
I believe we're going to stop him. It may be, late, but we're going to stop him. Ishe is in immaculate condition.
Yeah, and bringing that newfound confidence of a champion in the ring with him after all that time, it's going to be great to see that. And do you study films, right, Eddie? I'm sure you study.
Exactly.
What do you look for? What do you think is going to happen? You think he's going to stop Carlos Molina, or are you going for the 12-round decision?
Yeah. No. I believe that we're going to stop him. Ishe is physically stronger than Carlos Molina.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, and he punches harder than Carlos. So he'll be able to take a few chances. Carlos is not a puncher. He's just a guy that will get in there and try to rough you up. Yeah. It's cool. Because I've got guys that are sparring with Ishe do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, we had a great workout today. We had great workout today. We got great sparring partners, and everything is going smooth.
Yeah. You're training.
You know,
Where's he working? The Hit Factory or the Mayweather gym? Right?
Right, and Mayweather, yeah. Floyd is his promoter.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great gym. There's never a lack of sparring there.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
That's correct.
and
Eddie, I got a question. How, you say Molina's going to probably come in with some rough tactics and headbutts. How, you as a trainer, how do you prepare, for the people that are not trainers, from your perspective, how do you prepare a fighter, that is knowingly going into a fight, knowing that he's going to get headbutted, that he's probably going to get some low blows? How do you prepare a fighter for that?
Well, first and foremost, hands up. And if he hits Ishe with a low blow, expect retaliation. I don't want to hear the referee, giving him a warning. Expect retaliation, because I'm going to tell the referee during the meeting how he fights, what he does, and expect to get hit back.
Huh.
When I fought Victor Galindez in 77, we talked to the referee before the fight, and we said how Galindez hits low, hits him back of the head. No problem. He hit me low one time. I didn't say nothing. I looked at the referee. The referee didn't say nothing. He hit me low again. I didn't say nothing. I faked the jab and went right under his cup. And while he was down on the floor, I swung at him. Well, this is what I do. Yeah, this is what I do. You fight fire with fire, we got no problem with that.
That's why they call you the general. You are the general.
5-star general.
That's the name Floyd gave me.
Yeah, there's always tricks that you do, especially when you don't want the referee to see how if you want to retaliate or whatever. Like I heard this one story from one of my friends down here that actually went to the Olympics with Fedor Gomez back in the day, and he told me that Gomez one of the tricks that he used to do is get people up against the ropes when he wanted to get back at him, and as he's pinning him against the rope, he would knee into the guy's thigh, and as you know, the referees are always looking in, waist up. They're not looking at the thigh down. They're not looking at the thigh.
Right.
I'm like, wow.
No, there's a lot of ways. That's a great trick, because I wouldn't have none of my guys try it on anybody, because I believe in clean fights. We win fair and square. But in the event that the referee doesn't do anything to prevent the other fighter from fighting dirty, then I have to resort to my bag of tricks.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's a bottomless bag. I'm sure it's a bag with no bottom.
There you go. That is correct. It's correct.
Yeah. I was hosting ATG Radio on last Wednesday night, Eddie, and one of the guests was undefeated 154-pound title former contender. He fought Irizlandi Lara in his last fight, Olympian Vanez Martirosyan, and he said that he wanted Ishe Smith. How do you think that fight would look if Vanez fought Ishe in this fight?
Tell him he wants Ishe. Ishe don't shoot guys. We don't do that. He wants somebody. He got to earn his way up. Who did he fight? Who did he beat?
Yeah.
You got to listen. We didn't have to fight Molina because, we had plenty of time to conduct our mandatory. We didn't have to fight Molina.
Mm-hmm.
But Ishe said, hey, man, Molina is a worthy opponent. Let's fight him.
Yeah.
And then now everybody's calling Ishe out.
Yep. That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is. You know how it is, Eddie. You got a title, everyone wants you.
They never called me out. They rather fight. They rather fight Saad Muhammad. They didn't call me out. I knocked out 40 guys. I wish one would have called me out.
Well, you got New York in your demeanor.
Oh yeah.
It scares some people.
Without a doubt.
And you're also working with Swedish Olympian Badou Jack. He's about to step up in his young career. Right now he's 14-0. He's returning to the ring on July 19th. He wants to be champion. He said within 16 months before he's 31 years old. He's not a spring chicken, so you want to kind of move him fast, but not too fast. Do you think he's on schedule for 16 months from today?
Yeah, he may be a little ahead of time because we're in the gym every day, working hard, and I'm putting the work in with him. I'm taking these guys early in the morning, 5 o'clock. We're up at Mount Charleston. We're working hard. We're putting that work in. And I always tell them, you cannot play boxing. You can play baseball, basketball, football, hockey. You cannot play boxing. So listen, let me show you guys how to get in condition and win championships, because that's what I do. I win championships.
That's right. Anyone who got Eddie Mustafa Muhammad in their corner, they're gonna become at least 20% better fighter, and a lot of times even better than 20%.
Thank you very much.
Can't lose in getting better with Eddie in your corner. Anybody out there, one of the best in the game.
I just started training Jay Leon Love.
See, that's what he needed. He needs a change.
He came to me, and we had a sit down in the gym, and he told me, he said, I want to go to the next level, and you can take me there.
Yeah. What'd you see in his last fight with Gabe Rosado? That was a tough fight, kind of a...
Wasn't in condition. Was not in condition.
Why do you think...
I'm in the gym every day.
Yeah.
And I just said, you cannot play boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one really gave him a test yet. That was his first tough test, and it was also during training. I guess his brother was shot and killed, and that might have messed him up a little bit too. Do you think he was taking the game serious, or do you think just personal problems were causing him to?
He did not take that fight serious.
Yeah.
He did not take the fight serious. That's the bottom line. I told him that. I let him know how I felt. I thought he lost the fight. But hey, things happen. But in the event that we get the rematch with him, I believe that we could put something on it.
And that's what's going on with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad's fighters. You got more than that, I know, but wanted to talk a little bit before we let you go about big fights coming up tomorrow night. We got Adrian Broner moving all the way up to welterweight to take on Paul Malignaggi, fellow New Yorker. What do you think about that fight? And how good is Adrian Broner, Eddie?
Well, Adrian Broner is an exceptional fighter.
Yeah.
All he has to do is keep his mind on fighting. Listen, there's only one Floyd Mayweather. When they made that, they threw away the mold. Floyd is an exceptional, great fighter. And I believe that if he's on the right track, he can become the same exceptional, great fighter as Floyd. But listen, Floyd is unreal. Adrian is on the right track. He just got to stay on track. Stay out the clubs.
Yeah. And what else would you change? Do you see anything else you would change in Adrian? Would you like him to stop being so braggadocious and so outlandish with the things he says and stuff?
Stay out the clubs. That's all he got to do. Stay out the clubs. Stay in the gym. Spend more time in the gym than in the club.
Yeah. I mean, if he's this good and he doesn't put all that gym work in, imagine what he could be if he took it serious like Floyd does.
Man, look here. Floyd is an absolute animal. I see him in the gym. I see him during training camp. I see how he works. He is an absolute animal.
How incredible is it that Floyd's 37 years old and he's still at this level like this?
Because he loves the game. He don't play boxing. Not with Floyd. He does not play boxing.
No.
He takes this to heart. Serious about it.
And Adrian Broner moving past junior welterweight all the way up to welterweight. Do you think that was a smart move? Bypass 140 altogether?
Yeah, but you have to realize that Paulie is not a puncher.
Mm-hmm.
So Adrian would be able to take a chance of Paulie. Paulie's just a good boxer. And I think Paulie's a good friend of mine. I love Paulie. He's good people. You know, listen, to me, it seems like they're just trying to cash him out.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie, what would, if you were to be in Malignaggi's corner, what would you tell him so he could win this fight?
You have to do things that a lot of these fighters don't do, which is very simple. Very simple. You have to use feints. A good solid jab and a lot of feints. You know, when you put a guy out of position, and then you can strike, and then after you strike, you move away. You know, you're not the puncher. So I would advise you to double or triple your jab, feint, turn the hook, step around, and back on the double jab. Take him out of his rhythm.
Yeah. So we're looking at a Malignaggi taking it to the last round, winning on points.
I can't see him. Well, I can't see the fight really going that long. You know, like I said, Adrian, he's much stronger now. And when he moved up to the weight, I mean, he was gotten cast out in the junior lightweight, in the lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's just going to be stronger and more confident in his situation, knowing that Paulie's not a puncher.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Yeah.
I'm a Paulie. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I like Paulie to win. You know, he's a Brooklyn guy. I'm a Brooklyn guy. But you got to call it the way you see it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
Very true. Sometimes people get a little too caught up in what country the boxer's from or what particular area he's from, and they totally forget about skills are skills. They ain't got nothing to do with where you come from or what your heritage or your background. It's all about skills.
I saw Paulie fight his last fight at the Barclays Center. I didn't think he won that. He got knocked down. And I didn't think he won that fight.
Against Connor.
Exactly.
yeah, and
So who do you think has the stronger psychological edge on this fight? Malignaggi being at the welterweight level a lot most of his career, or Broner is coming up?
Broner, because number one, I'll be bigger and stronger than Paulie, and I know Paulie's not a puncher.
mm-hmm.
I can take chances. You know, I can take chances.
yeah, I was gonna ask you who you think's gonna win. I thought you were undecided until last couple answers, and you pretty much said that you don't expect.
Paulie's a friend of mine, but I call it like it is.
That's right. You can't be a betting man with your heart. That's
Exactly. That's correct.
You know.
Got Paulie in the heart, but if he was a betting man, like my man Chris, if he was a betting man, you got to go with Broner.
Well, of course. That's what
Let me ask you.
I think he's a 15-1 underdog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time Malignaggi and he wins, he's going to have a good payday.
That ain't happening though.
So let me ask you, Eddie, if Broner passed his test and this new division for him, who do you think should be next for him?
I mean, you have to take a look at what's in the welterweight division. I mean, I don't know who's in there, basically, but, you know, I mean, like I said, he's a young kid, so he has youth, speed, and punch power on his side. So he can reign for a while. But he has to stay true to the game. Don't think that because right now a two-time champion, that you're bigger than boxing. Nobody is bigger than boxing. Even Muhammad Ali, as great as he was, always said that he was never bigger than boxing.
True that. Eddie, I would like to ask you a quick question. I know early on in the interview, you said that, or you felt that boxing, had some corrupted things about it. I mean, if you had a choice, I mean, if they said, you know what, we're going to give you the power to change something.
And Eddie
what would you
should.
change in boxing?
Eddie should. Me and Eddie talked about this before, and he had lots of great ideas.
You know what? They would not give me the power to change boxing. First and foremost, I would federalize it. I would federalize the game, to make sure that things are run correctly. I would federalize it in a hurry. And I would make rules that, if any of the referees got caught, or I think, or anybody else think that there was some corruption involved, they would have to go to a hearing. Like the referee in Chad's fight, all right? I would, just like say, hey, you got to go back to referee school. A lot of these guys, they see a little blood, they faint. And I would, it is so corrupt out there. Even the sanctioning bodies. It's so cool. I would get rid of the sanctioning body. We don't need no sanctioning body. If we could federalize boxing in the United States, that would cut a lot of that stuff off. We would have extra money coming in that would go towards the fighter's pension. There's a lot of fighters like Floyd that sell places out. Why don't we have a union? These guys can't fight forever.
Exactly. Something from them when they retire. Yeah, true that.
It's an interesting point. There was this one time here in Puerto Rico that they did have a union of professional trainers. Unfortunately, that fell through. I haven't looked into it much regarding the history, but yeah, there was a union down here, and all professional trainers, they used to get together and everything, and it would be interesting if something like that were to be developed in the United States.
It will never happen because, like I said, before it to happen, it had to be federalized. And it wouldn't be a problem for me to come in and get rid of all the sanctioning bodies. The money that they give to the sanctioning bodies, why can't that go toward a pension for all the fighters?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're the ones that putting our lives on the line to give the people what they want. Yeah. A lot of wars, a lot of wars. Exactly, a lot of wars. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we have nothing to show for it.
So we could talk about that for hours upon hours with you, Eddie. You have so many good ideas, and your mind goes way further than the average trainer goes. You could.
I got one more question for Eddie. Yeah, Eddie. Obviously we see that you favor Broner in the fight, and I guess he's got all the tools to pull it off. But let's say you're in Malignaggi's corner. How would you train him to beat a guy like Broner?
Listen.
We talked about that.
You have to.
Talked about that.
I explained earlier. You have to go old school with Broner, whereas you got to add feints. A lot of guys don't add feints to their repertoire anymore. Double feint and a simple jab, double and triple. You can't go one jab with Broner because he's so fast. He can come over the top with a right hand, and hurt you. So in order to break that up, you got to double and triple your jab. So the right hand you can break up the right hand. And then you can feint him twice, and then pump your jab. That's all. It's very simple. It's not a long, drawn-out situation.
Yeah, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. Adrian Broner's favored to win, and I think everyone here on the line expects Adrian Broner to win. And what do you think about the co-main event? You got Jonathan Banks giving a rematch to Seth Mitchell. First fight back for both of them since that second round destruction, basically. Knocked him down 3 times, knocked Seth Mitchell down 3 times, and stopped him in the second round. What do you expect to be happening in this rematch here with Jonathan Banks and Seth Mitchell, Eddie?
Well, my philosophy is, if I knock you out once, why can't I do it again?
That's it.
You know, I mean, it's going to have to be up to not the other opponent that knocked Seth Mitchell out. And believe me, Seth Mitchell was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know that I have the power to hurt you, I mean, my confidence is sky high. I have to get myself in even better condition than I was when I knocked you out the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all he has to do is listen to his corner and, you know, put that jab out. Again, people forget about the jab. It's a key in boxing. It's the most important punch in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, once you establish that jab, everything else is easy. And what's the gentleman's name that knocked him out?
Jonathan Banks knocked Seth Mitchell out, second round.
Right. Jonathan Banks is a much better boxer because he's more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other guy is sort of muscle bound.
Yeah.
You know, while Jonathan is more fluid, has a better fluid jab, more snap on the jab.
Yep. And his boxing IQ is so much higher because he is a lifetime boxer. I mean, he learned from one of the greatest, Emmanuel Stewart, and Seth Mitchell's playing football and was a great football player, and he had to give up his career because of knee injury. So just the natural skills and the way boxing just comes so much more natural to Jonathan Banks. I don't think it'll be.
Oh, without a doubt.
That boxing IQ.
You said that right. You hit the nail on the head. It's a natural situation.
Yeah.
I didn't stop one sport to go into another sport, and it's not going to work, especially boxing.
Yep.
No, and your legs are the foundation. And if you got problems with your legs, then
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't really teach someone how to survive in boxing at such a late age when they weren't doing it all their life. It's just something that
Exactly.
you need time. So I guess the great Eddie Mustafa Muhammad expects Adrian Broner to stop Paul Malignaggi. What round do you think, Eddie?
Probably go late.
Late round stoppage.
Yeah.
And what do you think? He knocked Jonathan Banks knocked Seth Mitchell out in the second round last time. What do you think this? I think, in my opinion, I think it might go a little bit longer. I think maybe Seth Mitchell learned how to hold when he gets in trouble. Maybe. I think it might go 4 or 5 this time. What do you think?
It's like Tommy Hearns when he fought Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
The hold. He should have hold.
Yeah.
But he fought Ray the second time. I bet you he hold then.
Yeah. You got that right. The great Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. I know you got to be up early tomorrow too, Eddie, just like every day. It's getting late.
2:00 in the morning, I'm up.